as we get into 2026, many of us are feeling that there is a quickening of pace, and the last 5 years have been quite a quick paced season of change and a lot of crazy things happening on the planet. And as we move into 2026, the veil will continue to lift to the point where truth has nowhere else to go but right in front of our faces. And that, as much as that feels polarizing and can feel triggering and uncomfortable for many, the truth is the truth is, and we cannot hide from the truth. The apocalypse that's coming is not about the end of the world. It's about the end of the falseness that we have all been living in, the masks that many of us have been wearing to hide our true nature. Understandably so, by the way. It's not a judgment, it's just to say that the world has been veiled through illusion for the longest time. And we could go into detail, and we will go into detail on this channel, about the different reasons and the different narratives and belief systems and theologies and everything that's created that play. But it has just been a play. There's a deeper truth that's rising, and with 2026, its pace will quicken. And that needn't be a cause for alarm. In fact, it's anything but. It's really a cause for celebration, because life is starting to reveal itself in its truth, and we are finding freedom. Many people feel that they're trapped. They want to escape and have their sovereignty, but they want it without obedience, and that's the problem. Because freedom without anchoring, without obedience, without law, without covenant, isn't really freedom at all. It's just another path to lostness. So we must be willing to be obedient if we want freedom. And I can understand that that word obedience for some might feel like even more entrapment, even more of a prison. But obedience is not about being under the thumb of some wrathful creator. It's about having faith in creation itself. Just as a dog might be obedient to its owner, not because he's scared, but because he trusts that even though he doesn't always understand the command, he knows that it's for his own good. My dog comes to me when I ask him, not because he's scared of me, but because he knows that I have his best interests at heart. So that's what it is to be obedient. It's to trust God, to trust the laws. Even in the Lord's Prayer, the laws are there. Give us this day our daily bread. It's not a request, it's a command, because we know that the table is set every day. It doesn't feel like it for many of us because we want it our own way. We have our preferences, we have our desires and our lustful thinking that wants this, that wants that, that needs our senses titivated over and above what our needs truly are, which is really just companionship, food, water and shelter. Beyond that, it's just desire. And there's nothing wrong with having desire, don't get me wrong. It's about how we attach to those things and how we make those our goal. These days in modern spiritual movements we hear the law of attraction or manifestation, but it's all about getting something for ourselves, and that's where it falls apart. That's where the obedience is void of the truth, is that we need God. We do, we need him, and not because we are incompetent, but because he knows more than we do. This is his game, this is his will, this is his creation, and it's not a trap. It's eternal sustenance, it's divine containment, the matrix that we hear so much about as the trap that we're in. The matrix is the womb. It's the gestational sac that we're all in, that provides everything we need every day. You look out in nature, you see that trees just keep giving and giving and giving. They don't ask for anything in return. They take what nature gives them, they turn it into fruit, and then that fruit is there to nourish all those who eat of it. But what we've done is we've taken the fruit and we've made it a commodity. We've added value to it over and above God's will, and made it about what we can gain, what we can get. No other creature in nature does that. So we've broken the law of nature, and that is the unfolding that we're seeing right now. Where we're headed, people talk about Aquarius as being this age of love and harmony and oneness, and it can be that, but it won't be that without obedience. It won't be that without divine structure, because unity without structure is still chaos. We're all one now, and it's still chaos. So oneness doesn't automatically mean harmony, because we already are one. And so why are we not experiencing harmony now? The reason is because we aren't obedient to the laws of creation. That, by the way, are not put there to control anybody. They're put there to give life, providence to everything and everyone, to keep you in balance. They're not there to control you. They're there to keep you in alignment. But we, for many reasons, the main one being forgetfulness of our unity with Creator, have led us into wanting to grab and take just for ourselves, for our own survival needs. And understandably so. It's not that we have our reasons. That's all fine. No one's to blame. It's about understanding what's there for us now. The kingdom is already here. The table has already been set. We just need to trust that. We need to trust the providence of the divine. We need to see it for what it is. Not take more than we need, and be willing to give, to fill our cups only so that it can overflow and we can offer more to others. The grail, the Holy Grail in our being, is there to be filled so it can pour out and give and give and give. And the more you give, the more you get given. That's the law of creation. But we've broken it, and it's okay. It's okay. Separation is part of the game of unity. We have to learn unity through separation. So nothing's wrong here, except our forgetfulness of what is. The law is there to sustain us. God is there to hold us and protect us and give us eternal refuge. But we have to take part in that. We have to follow the law. We have to be obedient to the giver of life. All he wants to do is keep giving us life. So what's the problem? We've had some narrative that tells us that we have to escape this trap. The only trap is here, telling us that there's a problem, telling us that we are separate to it, that we're separate to each other, that we have an adversary, Satan. A worthy one at that, I might add. Because when you've danced with the devil enough, you realise that's for you as well. It's all for you. It's all for you. Nothing is against you except you. And even that's just a play. There's a part of you going, all good, whatever. I love you anyway. I love you anyway. I'm here anyway. There's one thing that's eternally true in this creation, and it's I am here. And it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter who I meet, what might come of my body. There will never be a time when I won't be able to sit here and say, I am here. And that sentiment is always echoed back. I am here. Here I am. I am here. Here I am. And no matter what happens to me, I can close my eyes and hear the words, I am here. Is it me saying it, or is someone saying it to me? It's both. It's both. It's both. So we have everything. And moving into 2026, we've done our purging, we've done all our healing. Some of us still have a bit of that to go, granted. But we've spent time being self-centered, making healing all about me and what I'm supposed to do, my purpose. What am I doing here? I've got to heal. I've got to sort the line out. All that stuff, It's great for a time, but then you get to a point and you go, I've done enough of that. And the truth is that we have a saying, don't we? The blood is thicker than water. And we take that to mean, well, family is more important. And, there's nothing wrong with that sentiment. But the truth, the true saying is The blood of the covenant is thicker than the waters of the womb. Because the agreements that we made with God before we took our form are what we have come to express beyond, over and above the wounding, the trauma, the narratives, the woundology, the emotionalism, the waters that we've been born into. Yes, we've had stuff come through our line. Yes, we've had experiences here. But we aren't to dwell on those forever. We move through those so that we can come back and meet God in our covenant of blood and say, here I am. I have got something to offer. And it's not just about my spiritual job that I think I need to have. What am I supposed to do? A lot of people are waiting for the spiritual job. How can I heal people? You know, of course there's nobility in that, but we have to remember that service is not about how many people you put your hands on, or how many meditations you run, or medicine circles you serve. It's about how you show up in the moment and say, here I am. How can you witness creation through the eyes of the divine and see it as it is, rather than needing the constant reflection, the constant mirror projection to reveal to you all your nuances and your wounds and your scars? The shadow work is great for a period of time, but after a while it's like, how pure do you need to be? Why can you not use that scar as fuel to push you forward into something else, for someone else? We've got a lot of experts out there who think that they know Jung and the shadow and the archetypes and all that. They're all great. That mythology is great. We need mythology to understand ourselves. But when do I start creating my own myth? When do I stop living somebody else's archetype, somebody else's story of this is what life is, and just be with life? Just hold life. Just love life. Just be present to it and see it as it is, rather than seeing it through my stuff. Because that's all just my stuff, you know? So there are things happening on this planet that are crazy. But when you take a step back, it's not crazy at all. It's just a effect of a cause, a law in motion. So what do? I have to understand the laws. I have to understand how the laws work, because the laws always work. The laws are never not working. And if that's true, then I have to be able to look at creation through the lens of law and say, this is the effect of a cause. So what causes this kind of effects? Well, it's this type of behavior. We know that fire does not resolve fire. So do we think that hate resolves hate? Or can we take a step back from our judgments and say, let's have a look at this as objectively through the eyes of God and say, what is this really about? Because everything that happens here is an opportunity to see that, especially if it triggers us. If it's bringing an emotion, if it's bringing a judgment, then it's not about them. It's about us. I could talk to some specifics, and I'll give one example. There are certain OnlyFans people online at the moment being talked about for their promiscuity, and there's a lot of judgment being pushed towards a couple of individuals in particular, and you hear terms like they're soulless, they're NPCs, but we don't even know what we're talking about when we say things like that. The fact that we are in judgment, first of all, is the immediate moment where we go, what is God trying to show us through this? Because if that person can be so soulless, then perhaps they are really just there as a data point for us to really be able to reflect back on where we let lust and desire and attachment to sensuality and pleasure get in the way of truth. And it has to take something that polarizing on the collective stage for us to really go, wow. But if we were to look in our own reality, we would see, if we were looking honestly, how we have manipulated creation to get our needs met because we didn't trust that God was going to do it anyway. And so are we that different? Or is that just the extreme of that? Because in the collective experience, it's all feeding into something. And if one person's really showing that powerful image, are they really the person to be judging? Or are we to go, wow, has it really got to this? You know, we could look at stories of the past, biblical stories such as Sodom and Gomorrah, Noah's Ark, you know, humanity getting to a point of complete imbalance, to the point where the laws of creation have to come in and rebalance everything, not as a punishment, just as a harmonization protocol. And this is what's going on right now. Maybe not in the same way, but we can use that mythology. We can use it to understand. I got to get my arc centered and balanced so that I can ride these waves when they come through, because they're going to come through, and there's going to be something on the other side of it. Everything is redeemable in the name of God. Everything is redeemable. So if I trust God, if I trust the law, then what am I really against out here? All this is just a play and a mirror that I only need until I've resolved my own part in the game. And once I've done that, I can step off the checkerboard, see it as it is, and go, you know what, I get it. I get all this. It's got to be this way. But for everyone who gets to that revelation, they take a step back, and there's something else over here going on that's being built and formed with God at the core, with law in the soil. Because everything that we are going to attempt to build outside of that from now is going to go down, just like Babylon is going to fall, not because not because of everyone's being evil and this and that, because it's not got God at the core. So is God punishing us, or is God ensuring that we live divinely, that we have a righteous life, and that we see the kingdom is right here all the time? We don't need to be closing our eyes and meditating ourselves away to go and find God in some dimension. There is only one dimension, and we're already there. We just have a filter that is trying to get reality to bend to our will, rather than understanding that it's always been his will. And that's the revelation of now. That's the time that we're moving into, is it coming back into the understanding, thy will be done, not thy will, but thy will. So let's do it.